Greetings, peace to everyone. What came to mind was a verse about Messiah being a deceiver, and I have it in the description, one of them. Although so many other verses could be shown through the works that they believe that about him, but not saying it directly, using the word deceiver, but the same meaning of what they believed and did towards him is in there. It's in there. It doesn't have to say it 1,000 times, but we do read it directly with that word, literally, that deceiver. Feeling pretty self-confident, self-righteous in the flesh about saying that deceiver. Did someone ever think, what if I'm a deceiver and a liar myself? Has that ever been taken to the Creator and questioned, to pray for not wanting to be a deceiver, and be sure that what someone's judgment, accusation is at least true, at the very least, and not a blatant lie? No, they didn't do that. They couldn't do that. They didn't do that did that. They absolutely did not do any of that in the heart that called Messiah a deceiver. They didn't do that for real in their heart. They never prayed towards the Creator as a sinner that needs help, and never prayed that for not wanting to deceive people with the heart. You can't fake this. I can't fake it. Nobody can fake it. They did not do it. The many are not doing it today. And the religion is not doing it today. It's not doing that. It's not about saying the words, sorry. Say sorry, son. Say sorry, daughter. Tell them sorry. You don't look like that in front of guests. You have to keep your appearances and image right. So say sorry. And the kid goes, I don't want to. And then they walk up, parents sort of drag them to say sorry, and they go, sorry, or sorry. It could come in different forms. But is it real? If someone has to force you to do something, was that done from the heart? Or if you are forcing self to do something for the image, that is forcing self to do something for some other intention or reason that has nothing to do with what those very words mean. Someone could say the words, they could say the right words at the perfect time and have nothing to do all day long with what they mean and never actually do them. So many phrases have come to mind over time, what the world says. So many phrases that are actually true. The words are true, but then I see it has nothing to do with doing it at all. Like nothing is what it seems. The world is a stage, and all the people are merely, the men and women are all merely puppets, basically, for the stage, but players. Yes, players. Playa. People like playing games. Evil is a game. It's a sick game. Do you want to play a game? I want to play a game. I am a psychopath, murdering, killing, bloodthirsty, blood drinker. But I want to teach you a lesson so that you can appreciate life. Because I see that you don't respect life. You don't appreciate being alive. And the off chance that someone survives my wicked game, the off chance they become a disciple of my wickedness, the body and division of some wicked body, they will become like me, wicked, while they believe it's good. They believe they have something, but what they are becoming is even more wicked than they were at the beginning. And the last state of that man will be way worse than the first, which is what I actually want, because I don't believe anything that sounds good for what I say at all. I am a lying deceiver that wants to kill people and destroy them while I sell that. I want you to appreciate life. Yes,
I am so deceived that I've convinced myself that I am doing this delusion because I so badly want some random person that I'm about to do all kinds of gruesome things that I get off on. I'm going to convince them to appreciate life. Who believes my lies? Well, everyone, I guess. Do you want to play a game? Sick.
Yes, if someone hasn't noticed, seen some of these things, yes, I've seen it. And it's only evil. I can't find any good. I've searched and looked for it, and I can't find any good. I can't find it. I can't. I really can't find it. It's a little frightening. It's scary. I cannot find it. I can't find it. It's only evil and driven out of evil intentions, like we read in Genesis, that the heart of man is only evil continually. That is strong, strong words, man. That's a big claim. But his word doesn't claim things, it speaks the truth. That is the truth. But to bring out an understanding, that's a big claim. There better be some proof and some proof for works for that claim, and there is all day long. Only those that believe will see the proof and works. They don't teach that in the church world. They don't teach that in religions. They teach the false thing already. They already teach the backwards thing, that there is a way outside of belief to see actual and proofs and know in your heart something is true. There is no way, says the world. When it goes against what they say, they'll say, you don't know, because they're talking about what they don't know. They don't know. But it's just getting angry and getting in a carnal division, straining out gnats, that its divided division and image is better and more right than the next one. Well, there is a true body. It's just no one's going to believe it when they see it. They won't believe it. Don't expect anyone to. It's just another divided division and delusion along with all the other ones, the true body. That's what it's counted for. We read that the world cannot see him and cannot know him. We read that they're hidden in Messiah. We shouldn't expect the opposite and teach the opposite, that his people can be seen by the world. They can't. It's what we read. They don't believe it. They teach that the whole world can see Christianity. Look, here it is. We know what it is. We know these are the people. At least that's what they claim. They're to be seen by all people and believed by many, that they are, and that this is the truth over here in religion that's literally divided and against itself. That's the reality. But then at the opportune time, someone says Christianity as like a whole, one thing, when it benefits them, speaking to someone that's against whatever they're saying, could be anybody, a different religion, maybe someone is against what they say, and then they use Christianity, the church, as if it's one because it benefits them at that moment. Then they speak of the church, and even will throw in Catholics when it gets desperate and say that they're one with Christianity, and just say the church has been here since the beginning. And it's, then that's a lie. That's a liar deceiving its neighbor. And who is our neighbor? Whoever's next to you. Messiah taught it. What does the false religious carnal prophet wicked say? Who is my neighbor? Because he asked that out of an evil heart. He's trying to catch Messiah in some kind of sin and lie, and he doesn't like the truth and doesn't want to accept the truth. That's the truth. So he says, well, who is my neighbor? After this parable of who helps someone when they're, sick, and this guy that's not even a Jew, a Gentile, one of those dogs, helps the guy, and the Jews pass right along. Cardinal Jerusalem just passes right along and don't care with the heart at all. And so then this is not good for those that are doing that, because that's going to be exposing their evil. You just walk right by. You don't care. And some other person, the Gentiles, yes, I will make the Gentiles throughout all the nations. They will be the people, and you, the carnal, natural Jerusalem, will be carnal. It'll be deceived until the end, until the time of the end. That'll be for the many. The most of them will be utterly carnal in their divided carnality of self-righteousness and its law that it claims to believe, but has nothing to do with it, because it's exactly what the Pharisees are that we read of. It's one of the major groups of what everyone is. Either that or just of the world, of the beast, and not like a religious image, that doesn't mean there's no self-righteousness going on. That's all that's going on. It's just a different image. That's it. But it must be that one of the worst is a religious, a carnal Jew of the commandments is the worst, because that is mirroring the image, foreign image of the truth the most, the commandments. And it creates an image so close to the truth. That's why it's nasty, because it's even greater of a deception. Someone's hiding even stronger, than someone that doesn't even say anything like, oh, the commandments, yeah, that's for the Jews. Someone that claims that they exist, that we're supposed to keep them, is an even greater masquerade when it's only carnality and seeing everything through self's understanding of the law and all of his word, only self-understanding, which is zero understanding. So then every time someone comes up with a doctrine, it's going to be a twisted, carnal lie, because we can't get the understanding from self. It doesn't come from self. That's why Messiah says the truth is not mine. It's not, my word is not my own. Did he also say it's his? Yeah, he did. Because it comes from the Father, and when it's given, it is Messiah's through understanding that it's been given. It's not his in that he created it and it came from him. So that's how both of those contradicting letters can be true in the heart. It's just contradicting with the letters. That's all. Which his word does a lot, of which they say it doesn't, which is a massive lie. The letter kills. Haven't they ever read? That means the letters they're reading kills from self-understanding and reading the letters and say, I read the letters and now let me understand it. Okay, I understand it because I read it. And something, whatever comes to mind, naturally, there's the understanding right there. That kills all day long. That kills. That literally kills spiritually, and even literally sometimes. Yes, it kills literally when someone gets real delusional. It'll use his word all the way. It'll say, I am the Messiah returned itself, while it sticks a sword in someone's literal gut. That's when the delusion gets so bad, like even the devil exposes that. People will point and say, that's evil. Take him down, take him to prison. They will do that all day long, because we read that. We read that that an oppressor and an evil ruler will be hated, but then it looks contradicting because the person is in a contradiction, his life. It will act like it loves it because it's worshiping the image. But speaking of actual love towards the person, zero, none. It hates it. Hates the person actually, for real. But it loves the worship of the image. Their life is a contradiction. Their very life, when they breathe, when someone, do you want to play a game, is a contradiction. Its very life is a contradiction. It's a confusion. It's Babylon. It's confused within spiritually. Its heart is very confused. It's literally contradicting like this nonstop. Doesn't know what it wants, thinks it wants this, then it wants that. There's no steadiness because the false prophets have sold that the ocean is steady, and people believed it. That would require being blind to believe something so obvious. When he gives a sight, it is obvious. It is clear and true. This is a vacuum cleaner. It's obvious, clear, and true. It's a small one. And they make the word dry. They dry it out of someone and make it to no effect because they've sucked the life out of someone because they're dead themselves. And the world will say things like, parasite. It doesn't know what it's talking about when it says some true words. It's a parasite in the heart. It doesn't believe that, does it? All the works prove it. If something's, what is this? There is something on the ground, like a little piece of wood, toothpick. Where is it? Gone. That's what they do to people. They suck them dry and kill them, which you would call in heaven a murderer, bloodshed, blood spiller, and drinker of blood. That's what that is. That's murder. To lie to someone. It's murder. To steal. It's murder.
to break all of the commandments in the heart. All of it is murder if they're being broken. So then does someone seek the understanding for what it means to be taught, as if someone can just, boom, doesn't the creation speak back to the hypocrisy of religion, that you can't just become a giant tree in one day? Doesn't the creation teach that? Does the creation even say something about other things, all kinds of things maybe, and we have some examples in scripture of how this works? It does this for all kinds of things, whatever the Father shows someone. Another example of that main truth, that the creation teaches something. It's just a matter of whatever he's given someone to see what it's teaching, right in everyone's face. That's a lot of proof, but that's no proof. Someone just looks at a tree and says, "What are you, insane?" And it cuts it down and uses it for firewood, and that's it. You're an insane person. The creation isn't teaching me anything. That's all that they'll be able to believe in their heart and see. And everything working the way it's working requires an insane amount of knowledge, wisdom, and power and order. Everything needing to be in the right place at the right time. Billions, trillions of things that no one can even remotely comprehend. No smoking scientist in a white dress or robe or whatever thinks he's God man has figured it. He knows nothing. Anyone that thinks they're wise is a fool, like we read. Anyone who's wise in his own eyes, there's more hope for a fool. Yes, there is more hope for a fool than someone who's wise in his own eyes. If someone has the wisdom given to them, Messiah as our example, he has wisdom. Does it look like it's wisdom of himself? Yes, it does. Is it wisdom of himself? No, it's not. Nothing of that. Not at all. Zero. Will it be accused as wisdom of himself? Yes. What will that be accused of? Pride. Exactly what the accuser accuses, he is himself. Isn't that true for himself? Can he not see that? That he thinks he's wise in his own eyes, and all the things he talks about and believes is wisdom and truth? He believes that about himself, doesn't he? That doesn't apply to himself at all? Who is he if it doesn't apply to himself? I'm just God. I could just go into the lukewarm middle every time and hide. It doesn't apply to me only when I don't want it to. And if something needs to apply, then I just make it apply all of a sudden. Change the laws like that. I'm the creator almighty. I can do that. I just go to the lukewarm in the middle where it's safe and cozy and nobody will see me over here. I'm not the left or the right. I'm in the middle. The most nasty, gross, spiritually sick thing there is. That's why Messiah vomits the lukewarm out. Has anyone ever puked before? Maybe if they puke again in the future, think of that verse. Think of it while you're puking. He might give you more understanding while you puke. It's the truth. So then you can see why puking exists and see on a different level truth. The disgusting, gross nastiness of it, that it's supposed to be nasty if it's nasty. And then that's something like the spiritual vomiting out. It's gross like that in the spirit. It's real. It's a real thing, rightly divided from 10,000, 10 million other things. These are the different details of his word, his law, his commandments, his judgments. There is something different about it. But the carnal man, the carnal Jew, creates an outward appearance religion. He creates his law real quick and says, these are the doctrines, which will be absolutely divided and against all kinds of other peoples everywhere. Will it line up carnally with other people? Some things, yes, it does, carnally. And then someone is looking for carnal to carnal. They want to match their heart and their doctrines that are connected to their heart with somebody else's carnally. And if it's real close, then these two become one in their own mind. Then they are united. They are like-minded. We are the brotherhood. Do you ride Harleys? We ride Harleys. I'm just making something up. And someone finds something that's the same as them, and this is not the true way. That's selfishness. That's pride. And working out of self only. That's not the true way. Does the true way look like that's happening? Yes, it does. Is it happening? Not if someone's doing whatever is good and true, the Father's works. It's not. It doesn't mean we won't fail, but his truth is not that. It's going to look like that. When someone sees it, it will be accused as being that. Can count on it by the world, anybody in and of the world, which can't be fake, their heart. If it's an unbeliever, it will only see that in its heart, that it is the evil thing. That's all it can see, because it doesn't know what good is yet. Nobody did. We weren't born knowing what good is. 20 years later, we don't know what good is. 50 years later, nobody knows what good is. As an unbeliever, without any sight, without any understanding or knowledge or wisdom and truth given, stays that way. It gets worse, actually. It gets dumber. It becomes harder like a rock, harder and harder, a more perfect rock. And at the end, it's like the perfect hard stone, unchangeable. It's just a cold, dead stone that is set in its own ways and can't come out of it, and it's gotten worse and more stuck in its own ways. It's not teachable or moldable. It's a stony heart. It's a rock. The heart of flesh is moldable. It can change. He changes it, which will hurt. Because if we imagine being clay, and we are the clay, he's like twisting and squishing and molding. Next thing you know, some devil says, "Do you want to play a game?" Trying to stop that process. It's going to try to say, "Why are you hurting yourself, wicked? I have a better way. I have a good way. That way's no good. You're just hurting and getting molded for no reason. Plus, what good does that do in this world? Do you see people becoming millionaires that go that way? Do you know of any of them? Come this way over here. I'll show you how to get rich and famous. Come this way over here. This will be prosperous," because we read, "The wicked prosper carnally." That's what we read. When we read prosper there, it's carnally, wickedly. Worldly, carnal, physical, natural gold, literal gold, money, possessions, prospering. They prosper. He makes them prosper. And there's all kinds of things that need to be seen for that, for why, and the wisdom of it. And then some don't prosper. It's true. Some don't prosper that are not believers. They stay on the poor side, carnally. And then there's the middle and everything in between. All of it exists. And someone's going to try to get some carnality and doctrine and write them all down, to create some robotic system. That's who man is. He's like a robot. No wonder whatever he's creating now is his own image, and it's getting more and more perfect until that very end, which is not far away. Surely it's not very far away. And no, it's not far away. It's not that far. It's not hundreds of years and decades and decades. It's not that far away. And then it's creating a cold, dead robot that's told by someone programming him, which is the image of man's heart. He likes to control and program and tell people what to do from himself. No love at all, nothing from the Father at all. From himself, he wants to program and control and tell people what to do, and he's going to use robots to help become and do what he always has done and get everyone, because there is no rest in the devil. There is no rest in wickedness. There's no rest for the wicked. Don't people say that? I've had someone randomly say that. This is said so often. Waiting in a line once for some food, someone right next to me, they were asked something like how they're doing. He's just work, 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 just work, work, work. No rest for the wicked. And I look over, I peek over, and he's smirking. He thinks he's wise when he says that. He's a fool. When someone says they're wise and accepts that, they kill that person, because the truth is, it needs to be told. This is not about going around saying you're a fool, you're a fool. That's not what I'm saying to do. But the truth is that he's a fool, and he needs to know that in his heart. But he takes pride in saying,
ain't no rest for the wicked. Oh, but if I said it or any other believer said it out of the spirit of truth, would they be smirking? No, they'd want to strangle you until you can't breathe anymore and get off on watching your breath being choked out as they kill you. That's what they would like to do in the heart. If that is what's wanted to be done in the heart, they already did it. They don't have to do it physically. That is wickedness. That's murder. You just murdered me. You killed me. And someone says, what, this doesn't do anything? Wave your hand in the middle of two people. Did you see anything happen? Says the stupid wise man. Drop a pen and prove something. I just dropped a pen, everyone. See it? Prove something. Prove that gravity exists the way we say it does because I dropped a pencil on the ground. Neil deGrasse Tyson is made out to be an utter fool. There is no wisdom in him at all, and people are under the spell of his sorcery. Making themselves to be wise, they become utter fools. If anybody can see it, there is no wisdom. I've searched it out. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's an empty vessel full of dishonor and wickedness. That's it. And it's just playing a game with people and lying to people about the entire creation and everything. It despises the creator. It shakes inside. It's afraid to do good at all times, doesn't want to do any good. It's afraid of it genuinely. It's shaking inside for how afraid it is to do any good. It's far from it. Far be it from me to do any good, says the unbeliever that makes himself out to be a great somebody, which is an even greater sin. When the more someone thinks they're something, the greater sin they're in because they're getting worse in reality for thinking that, because it's a sin in the heart to think self is like that. So the more someone rises in and of the world with actual worship for proof, people worship the image. This is not true love. This is the disease. This is the image of the beast. And now speaking only of this evil thing right now, worship from people is not faked. It's real. The worship from someone is real. The cheering, the worship, the support through this evil, worshiping the image is real. There's proof for it. There's entire groups and masses of people that worship Mr. Tyson, and any other divisions all have their own little divisions and differences carnally, but the heart's all doing the same thing. How is it the world's so blind? You can't just say or do whatever you want. There's proof for everything, whether true or false, whether doing evil or good. There's proof. There's proof whether the world's worshiping us, worshiping my image or someone else's image. There's proof. What is not worshiping the image? Well, it'll be seen as despised. It has nothing to do with that. It won't even look like someone likes you because they don't even worship your image yet. You have to worship someone's image for it to look like you like somebody first. But I'm not speaking of the good way yet. I'm speaking only of the evil. If someone doesn't appear to like someone, they're not worshiping that image in the same way. There's a difference here to be seen. It's divided. Satan is against Satan, casting out demons by the power of demons. It wants to destroy what? The thing that someone loves and works for and cares about the most, someone else's image. So if two people are enemies and they're both unbelievers, now they're fighting each other. One wants to destroy the other's image, so they're not worshiping it in the same way as what appears to be loving or liking someone. When you worship the image, it looks like there's some kind of love. It's not love. It just looks something like what the world calls love. That can't be faked. Those are real works, spiritual real works from the heart. That can't be fake. No one can fake love. No one can say, I'm sorry, and be sorry just because they force themselves to say sorry. They cannot do it. This is power. This is amazing. That's how all his truth works. You can't just fake the true thing. No one can. They can't. You can't do it. I can't do it. You can't just fake whatever you want. You can do the fake thing, but you can't do the real thing. Therefore, you cannot fake real. What does the world buy and sell, though? It sells that you can do the fake thing, that the fake thing is the real thing. That's what it sells. You can't fake real. I've heard that too.
I don't see belief or proof at all, zero, that the world believes or knows what those words means when they say you can't fake real. They're just talking about some carnal worthlessness that doesn't apply to the heart at all. Zero. They're just talking about the images and what something looks like. If you look like it, you proved it. That's it. If you look guilty, you are guilty. That's it. That's what the heart does. Also, the world is set up for the wicked to prosper them because it does not support actual good. It does not support doing good, doing the works of the Creator, doing what Messiah did. It does not support that. It's against that. So if you even remotely look like you're doing something, you won't have any mercy shown around you. But the Father can, for us, get someone to be so blind and deceived that it will look like there was mercy shown, or he makes a way for his people through it. Doesn't change what I said about what Pharaoh is. He never does the good, but the Father can get us through, and it makes it look like someone did the good. But even that's deceitful if someone can't see it, because Pharaoh didn't do any good. He never did good. He didn't do good when he let the people go. He didn't want to. He got so blinded, so hardened and deceived. Like we read, he kept getting harder and harder. His heart got harder. That's a truth. Until it got so bad on himself, even losing firstborn son. That's pretty serious. Can someone imagine this? It's not a joke. The judgment gets so strong, finally, with tears of wickedness, literally crying because of wickedness, because of how much insecurity, shallowness, death, shaking with rage, cowardly, insanely afraid. That's why the tears are coming out of someone's face when it's out of evil like that. That they're so afraid, cowardly afraid. Cowardly have their part in the lake of fire, we read, because that's all sin. That's no good. True fear for the Creator is not a cowardly, carnal fear. What carnal man already is first. No, he doesn't send to the strong judgment for obeying his word. All the cowardly and all the fearful, all the believers that it's Father doesn't punish someone for keeping his own commands. That's insanity. He never does that. But you shall not steal. Well, off to the judgment and second death for those that, do not steal, punish you for obeying, which is what the devil in this world is constantly doing. It deceives people. It acts like it wants you to do something, and then when you do it, it jumps on you so that you can get in trouble. Has anyone ever experienced that? Maybe that's all they've experienced. We can't even see how bad it is until he opens our eyes. That's all everyone's doing. It's insane contradictions from the heart. It's a spiritual contradiction and wicked work in the heart. It's a confusion, a mixing that doesn't have any order. There is no straight way. There's no straight way. The way is crooked like this, so it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go the good straight way. It's already crooked. And only he can make straight, because we read, who can make straight that which he made crooked? The Creator. Only he could. Only those that believe he can. Now, why would some unbeliever suddenly believe that the Father can make their crooked way straight? They would have to start believing for real, which cannot be faked, that their way is wicked and crooked in order to want the way to be made straight. A genius deceiver and masquerader, but it's all foolishness. So then when someone sees deception, that's good deception, they call that good and they call that wisdom. It's utter foolishness. They're good at deceiving. Yeah, there's a truth to that. Someone can get good at being a deceiver, but they're being deceived themselves. That's why they're doing it. They're literally deceived while they deceive. You can't be anything else except literally deceived and in a literal delusion to go out and purposely deceive people. You have to be in the delusion yourself, and that's why someone's deceiving someone, because they are in the delusion that they accuse, make fun of, get off on, say you're a retard, you're stupid, you got tricked. I want to trick you all the time. It's all I want to do is deceive you. Does anyone notice that's what people do everywhere? That's all they do. They want to deceive someone, lie to someone, trick them, and think that's good, funny. They laugh. They don't even know why they laugh. It has to be told why they laugh. How could a blind person know their works and why they even do what they do? They're blind. It has to be told to them what they do and why they do it by someone that can see in this world, that has been given sight. Because the blind man can't see any of his own works. He doesn't see whether he's doing good or evil. He's just blind. He's just doing evil constantly. There's nothing to watch for. There's nothing to properly fear. There is no judgment in his mind. There is no belief in judgment. Therefore, judgment doesn't exist in his actual heart. He doesn't believe it. And someone in religion pretending to believe in his judgments, that's what they're doing. They're pretending. They believe it no more than a serial killer. They believe it no more in Christianity than some random person on the street that's not religious. That, creates that religious image. They don't believe in the judgment any more than anybody else. That's why we read the harlot rides the beast. They're one in the flesh, carnally. But they can't actually be one the true way, because the Father doesn't make one evil. He doesn't make a way for that. It's not allowed. When they try, that's when it gets real bad. That's when the judgment starts getting stronger and stronger. The more someone's pushing towards trying to make two magnets that oppose each other, and the more someone tries to make the two magnets one, the stronger and stronger the judgment gets, the more resistance, until they're wiped out like a ball, until they're destroyed. That's what they're doing now. That's what the world's always doing. But the anti-Messiah spirit is always working in people, even those that don't believe in any religious thing. They're of the anti-Messiah spirit already. They just don't know it or believe that. It's not just for religion, the false thing. The beast is anti-Messiah spirit. It's anti-Messiah. It's against the Father's way. It's against Messiah. It's against the truth. It's anti-Messiah. It doesn't have to be religious. But they've already corrupted everyone's minds by creating these carnal categories and boxes in people's minds. And then because they're lost, they have to be a neat monster and have everything in some kind of order for their delusion to make sense in someone's mind. Powerful. And then each person a little bit different with this delusion. When those pieces are being exposed and the truth comes and the light is shown on these pieces for what they really are, someone starts raging because everything that they've created delusion to cover their sin and their reality that they don't want to face and can't face yet because they haven't repented. They don't believe. So they're running from the Creator. They're hiding, covering up their sins constantly. Then when those pieces are broken down, it creates a storm inside someone. It makes them start even breathing more and their heart rate faster too. It doesn't have to do that, but it does. It'll do that when it's strong enough, when someone's delusion's being crashed down and exposed. What they thought always was their cover. So that false comfort is even breaking down. When that false comfort, an image of comfort, is exposed for being just that, a false comfort, now the only thing is like anxiety, death, rage, to destroy anything and everyone that's exposing that, to want to destroy the light, get rid of the light that fixes my problem so I could go back in darkness and, be the exact backwards, perfect opposite thing, thinking that hiding in the dark actually fixes someone, that it means something is not there, This is here, whether it's light or dark, but that carnal man doesn't want to face that reality. No, he doesn't. And light exposes this, if this room was dark, as being there, something in your life that was always there that never was seen until he shows us. Just open it somewhere. I don't know. 36. Came up against the fortified cities, the king of Assyria sent.
great army from Hezekiah, Jerusalem, stood by the aqueduct from the upper pool on the highway to the fuller's field, who was over the household scribe. Say to Hezekiah, thus says the great king, the king of Assyria, what confidence is this in which you trust? I say you speak of having plans and power for war, but they are mere words. Now in whom do you trust that you rebel against me? Look, you are trusting in the staff of this broken reed, Egypt, on which if a man leans, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all who trust in him. But if you say to me, we trust in Jehovah our Elohim, is it not he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah has taken away and said to Judah and Jerusalem, you shall worship before this altar? Therefore I urge you, give a pledge to my master, the king of Assyria, and I will give you 2,000 horses, if you are able on your part to put riders on them. How then will you repel one captain of the least of my master's servants and put your trust in Egypt for chariots and horsemen? Have I now come up without Jehovah against this land to destroy it? Jehovah said to me, go up against this land and destroy it. Okay, then Eliakim, Shebna, and Joah said to the Rabshakeh, please speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it, and do not speak to us in Hebrew, in the hearing of the people who are on the wall. But Rabshakeh said, has my master sent me to your master and to you to speak these words, and not to the men who sit on the wall, who will eat and drink their own waste with you? Then he stood and called out with a loud voice in Hebrew and said, hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus says the king, do not let Hezekiah deceive you. Oh, that's interesting. Hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus says the king, do not let Hezekiah deceive you, for he will not be able to deliver you, nor let Hezekiah make you trust in Jehovah, saying, Jehovah will surely deliver us. This city will not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for thus says the king of Assyria, make peace with me by a present or gift, and come out to me, and every one of you eat from his own vine, and every one from his own fig tree, and every one of you drink the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, Jehovah will deliver us. That's incredible. Beware, everyone, lest Hezekiah persuade someone, saying, Jehovah will deliver us. Has any one of the gods of the nations delivered its land from the hand of the king of Assyria? Oh, so if it doesn't see some kind of carnal, physical, literal proof right now, who cares about the millions of proofs that happened yesterday and 500 years, the last 500 years? It's working out of a deceptive, wicked snake heart by trying to get the people on your side. The one saying that Hezekiah, says he's a deceiver because he says Jehovah will deliver us. What a deceiver. What a great deceiver he is to say Jehovah will deliver us. And now try to get the people to listen, right? Here's the bait. Has any one of the gods, Elohims of the nations, delivered its land from the hand of the king of Assyria? So someone goes, no, my king is great. My king is awesome. No one's delivered him. Yeah, he must be a liar and a deceiver. And that's how quick someone goes blind. Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Indeed, have they delivered Samaria from my hand? Who among all the gods of these lands have delivered their countries from my hand, that Jehovah should deliver Jerusalem from my hand? But they held their peace and answered him not a word, for the king's command was, do not answer him. Then Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph, the recorder, came to Hezekiah with their clothes torn and told him the words of the Rabshakeh. This day, said Hezekiah, is a day of trouble and rebuke and blasphemy, for the children have come to birth, but there is no strength to bring them forth. It may be that Jehovah your Elohim will hear the words of Rabshakeh, whom his master, the king of Assyria, has sent to reproach the living Elohim, and will rebuke the words which Jehovah your Elohim has heard. Therefore, lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left. Do not be afraid of the words which you have heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Surely I will send a spirit upon him, and he shall hear a rumor and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. Servants of the king of Assyria. Better stop there, or else I'll keep reading it forever. Not literally, but just randomly opened it. It's the best when you don't try. Just move in the spirit. And if there's nothing, then wait or ask. Do the best that whatever we're given with that we can. If someone sees they're trying too hard, it's like, let me try again, let me try again, let me try again. It's a sign maybe we should back off. We're not doing something right. There's all these proofs to one's own self when he gives it for doing wrong. You start seeing it. Start seeing your own, whatever slipping up, lie, delusion, deception that tries to creep in, because it's always trying to creep in. And there's always pressure. Not the same always, but there always will be for doing evil, sometimes more, sometimes less. And these come in deceitfully through people, through ideas, religion, systems, powers that be one person, two people, in any way and form. It comes in like a snake so that you don't hear it's coming. Why? So that it can kill you. That's its only intention. That's who a man or a woman is without the Creator at all, without His Spirit at all. They're already filled up with the devil. That's it. Thinking they do good and thinking it's wise, and it's become an utter fool. And the more someone rises, like said earlier, the more someone's a king in their own mind out of this pride, raised up in this world, which people worship and confirm that he's a king in his own mind. It only makes it worse. The king of Assyria then starts getting even more prideful. The king of Assyria starts believing the lie on another level because he sees the proof that he's a mighty person. I wouldn't be a king if I wasn't great, right? And he's self-deluded and deceived, and it's getting worse and worse. The more someone climbs, the more they need. They're lacking even more now. They're less content than their no contentness earlier. It's getting worse. It's worse. Therefore, they need more proof. They're even hungrier because they are hungrier, getting worse. They need more worship. And the people are just a bunch of wicked
worthless merchandise that gives you the power and wealth and whatever someone's self-gain is at the moment. They're just used like the dogs they are in someone's wicked heart and mind. That's all that becomes of someone that keeps raising up like that. You catch some Hollywood star or actor or whatever, if they're caught by surprise for real, has anyone seen some of those things? They get angry. They want you to get the hell out of here. And maybe they'll say other things to someone. They don't care. Sometimes it looks like they do. Because why? Well, looks like maybe there's some people watching. I think I'm going to masquerade. I need my image. Oh, that guy's got a phone. What if he posts, But if they're not aware, that's what happens so often. And if the good thing is happening, so it seems, it looks like, it's not good. Has to be seen why it looks good. That's how bad it is. There's no good in man. He's got something in it for himself if it looks like he's doing good. Now the works will prove whether this is true for anybody that can see, or it will disprove anybody. The works will do it. The works are already done and left behind for someone's self-gain and intention for self-gain, dishonest gain, even robbing people, even literally robbing them blind, let alone spiritually. If it gets that bad, it's a literal sorcery, robbing and blinding. Getting someone to believe that they need to just give someone a bunch of money is robbing them. Yes, both sides are in delusion, though. Both sides, not just one. The deceiver is deceived himself, and obviously the deceived is deceived. It's that bad. There's proof already. It's not proof to this world. The proof's staring right at them in their face, and they just say, I didn't do it. I didn't mean anything by it. It's already over. You left the works behind. There it is. It's over. What do you mean you didn't do it? You didn't do this. You're not doing that. What do you mean you're not selling his word for profit? All your works, your entire life proves it. Those that do that. Are they blind? How can someone not see that that's all their works prove? You make money in exchange for his word. You make money selling his word. Done. It's over. That's what you do. And when I see that someone does that for real, it's discerned properly, it's over. I'm not going to try to be one or something with that person. I'm not going to go out of my way to be one with them. They're lost. They're deceived, and they're in strong delusion. They'll only try to destroy you and take you down. That's all that they can do if it's discerned that's how strong it is. That's how strong it is that nobody can continue to do that and do any kind of good. They're only doing evil. If it's discerned, they got all kinds of other sin going on. If something like that is discerned so massively, oh, this person makes money off his word, there's going to be a lot of sin to see, and they're not having anything to do with the Father. Nothing. They can keep lying to themselves because 5 billion people, 5 million people say, I'm a messenger of the Creator. See, the king of Assyria has a bunch of people worshiping my image. That's proof that I'm of the Father. It's proof that you're not. That's the worship of the image of the beast. It's proof that you have nothing to do with him. But you got 7 billion people on your side that commit the same sin. So everyone's going to attack the truth if it's exposing it. If there's a little light somewhere, people that hate each other, that are ready to kill each other, will get together to destroy that light because it exposes all the same sins that all of them have equally. That the heart is deceitful and doing wicked and only done wickedness. That's it. The light will expose all their sins. So when there is a moment for self-gain, what's the self-gain now from the evil eye's perspective? Well, light's in the way, exposing us. I hate this other guy, some unbeliever says about this other. I can't stand him. If I could kill him, I would like to. That's how strong the hatred is. And they're both by the light. These two will get together for the common good cause to try and snuff out the light because it's exposing all their sins. And they don't like it so much. Yes, they will. They can look like they're buddies for a couple minutes. When they have self-gain, what's the self-gain? Destroy the light. It's exposing my wickedness. That's what I have to gain right now, is get that sick light out of here.
That's what I have to gain. That's why I could be friends with someone, look like I could be friends with someone I actually hate, because we both have a common cause for evil and we're united in evil, at least for a moment. And we speak the same language in this moment, and we both want to destroy the light. That'll happen every time the truth is brought out in this world against all the darkness. There's no way that any sheep should be able to survive. It'd be chopped up and, eaten up in 2 seconds. So then it's a miracle that someone's alive, because a sheep in a world of hungry wolves shouldn't be alive. It's not possible without a miracle. It's not possible without an actual miracle happening constantly. And it might have been cut off in the description where it says, because I ran out of room because of the 5,000 word limit. I don't know if it caught it in there, but it's somewhere in Colossians or Corinthians. I don't remember. But it's in part of it's at least in the description. As deceivers, yet true. As killed all the day long, yet alive. He's going on about a bunch of contradicting, with the letters seemingly contradicting, everywhere in his word. It's because there's two different things to be seen. There's no actual spiritual contradiction in his truth. If it appears to be a contradiction, someone doesn't have the understanding, and they're not seeing that there's two things to start with, or the same at the same time, each one for what it means, not seeing the difference between the two, and not even knowing that there's two things. There's just one. It's just the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. That's it. It's just one tree. That's it. Should be two, but we only see one thing because we say we're God, because my Father said, you shall be like gods, Elohim, and I believe it in spirit. Since I was born, I believed it. It's all I've ever been. It's what the world is. That's what they already believed, the lie. Everyone did. They were already sold under sin to the devil, like Adam and Eve, all creation. Adam and Eve is also representing all of humanity. Who else was left out of this? No one. That included everyone. It doesn't matter if it's 5 billion or 2 people. It's everyone. That was everyone. That is everyone. If there were 5 billion people at that time that we read in Genesis, if there were just 5 billion instead of Adam and Eve, all 5 billion would have been deceived. It doesn't matter what the number is. It's all. Number doesn't matter. It's everyone. The harlot found a different way where you could be a sinner and have nothing to do with truth and nothing to do with wanting to do good and do his will, Creator's will, not the devil's will, where they get you to believe that all of this sin is okay. It's just a trick. It's a massive, sick deception and trick to get you to believe that good is evil and evil is good. And as soon as someone believes that, they'll never know what good is, because they already know in their own mind, and the Father doesn't give anyone to who already knows. He goes by what they say in their heart. Oh, you know? Well, you know. There's nothing to give. You know everything. Done. Next. Oh, that person knows? He knows everything. There's nothing to give. Oh, you don't. You say you're not sick? You don't need any healing? Done. Next. Does anyone else need healing? That guy doesn't need healing because his heart says it doesn't need any healing. Therefore, he won't get any because he's healed already. Doesn't need any healing. It won't get it. Shouldn't expect it. And then the sorcerer brewing up something in the pot says, I'll tell you your fortune. I'll tell you something that's going to happen in the future. All these different deceptions. Someone's looking for the ways, jumping, trying to go over the fence, crawl under it. It's not allowed. This can never be so. It can never happen. What's the proof? Well, where's all the carnal proof? Is a wall supposed to appear somewhere magically with, I don't even want to use that word magically. It's just trying to bring out what the carnal mind is thinking. It doesn't see anything. It sees carnality as proof or something. It sees an image. It wants to be carnal. That's it, because that's all it is. See, the world has all the proof. You want to see the proof of this?
Look at the religion. Look at all its power. Look, behold its image and the millions of people that are of this, Christianity, Hinduism, all the different things. Look at all the people and look at the power and the image of the beast. Look at all the proof, we say. Now, they seem to conveniently forget that all of these are severely divided. If it's the truth, each one, how come they're divided against all these others, and those others divided against it? I didn't know the truth does that to itself. Interesting. Never thought about that on a spiritual level. No, never. Maybe they said the words and couldn't see what any of it meant. Must have been so. If they said the words, they couldn't see it at all. Saying the words doesn't mean anything, doesn't prove anything. Saying I didn't murder someone doesn't prove anything, because what I said I didn't, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't prove anything whether it's true or not true. It still doesn't prove anything by itself, whether it's true or not. Whether someone murdered someone or didn't murder someone, it still doesn't prove anything of itself. So in this case, the answer doesn't matter. It needs to be separated to bring out that it never proves anything of itself. Someone will try to say something, prove something, because it lines up with the answer being right at the time. That's just another deceptive trick. It doesn't prove anything, even if the answer's seemingly right to someone at the time. It doesn't prove anything of itself. It just looked like it did. That's what deception is. It always looks like it. How would it be deceiving if it didn't look like the truth or look like something was true? Oh, this doesn't look like it's true at all. How deceiving is that? Someone is deceived by whatever they believe is true because it looks true to them, not because it didn't look true to them. The Father will send a strong judgment, a strong delusion to anyone who doesn't actually love the truth in their heart, so that they believe a lie. Is that coming someday, or is that already true and will be true and is coming still? It's already true, it was true, and it's coming. It's not coming as if like someday the world's going to be deceived. Just wait. Someday they're going to get everyone to get the mark of the beast on them. It's coming someday. This truth was never true at any time. None of his word has been true at all, ever. It's just coming someday. Just wait and see. Someday the world's going to be real wicked. It's going to be deceived someday. The delusion will be so grand at the end. It's coming someday. It's just going to go on off like a light switch, from perfect and light and shining like Adam. Like they say, Adam was perfect and in the image of the Creator while he's sinning. I didn't know the Creator's a sinner. I guess you're speaking of your father, the devil, then, Christianity, to say Adam was created in his image. A little confused, doesn't know what it means. Can't you read? It says in his image. Can't you hear? That means your Creator is the devil. You say the Creator is the devil. You say the Creator is a liar, that he's deceived himself. Isn't to be in his image to be something like the Father, the Creator? And now Adam, perfectly in the Father's spiritual image, went to sin and got deceived, and Eve did evil, and they both did evil. That's what the Father does, evil. I wonder what God they're talking about in Christianity. I wonder if Messiah's words are true and always have been. Your father's the devil. You don't know the Father. Your father's the devil, and his works, his will, you desire to do, you will do. Told them right to their face, religion. How much more proof does someone need that they believe that the devil is good, that is their God, that is their Elohim? Because the true Creator doesn't sin. Adam sins, therefore the Creator sins. He only does whatever he's in the image of. Adam is in the image of the Creator, and so is Eve. Therefore the Creator's a sinner. They can't walk out of that, can they? Try to come up with some kind of sly trick to blindsight someone so they can't see this truth. Try to justify it, and when someone does that, they will go blind. They won't be able to see what I said if they believe somebody's trick. That trick will work on someone. Tomorrow they'll forget that whole conversation happened.
It'll never exist in someone. That trick will work and completely make his word void in someone. It really works. They'll go stupid, blind, and worse than dumb and never remember those words ever again. Won't want to, and it goes away from them. The seed is taken by a bird. Foul spirit, word's gone. That's what the false prophet does. After he commits his sorcery, once someone believes the false prophet's lie, it's a judgment on the person that's believing the lie and wants to believe the lie with their heart. Once they believe that false prophet's lie, that deception becomes true through the judgment. And they go more blind for doing some kind of sin. And that's how it works. It doesn't work because of man being some kind of power. He's nothing. It's working that the false prophet got you to sin, in simple terms. And when someone sins, they get blinder for believing this. When the truth is given them and they resist it, it's a stronger judgment when the truth is right in your face, resisting it and hating it. So someone goes blind right in that moment. And since that truth was given to them, that torments them, they won't want to remember it. And then they forget it. Never happened. What are you talking about? I remember. Never happened. No, never happened. It will literally not be in their heart. Watch people forget. They don't even forget. It just disappears. It's gone. They'll never bring it up. They'll never say anything about it. They'll never ask about it, never talk about it. It's gone. It's as if you don't even exist. Pretty freaky. That's why the devil says to the light, you're freaky. You freak me out, because it's talking about itself. That's how perfectly blind and deceived it is. It just talks about itself. That's it. It's freaky. It's deceived. It's blind. It's afraid, cowardly. It's all those things that it accuses the light of being. Anyone that accuses what is true light is already doing evil, because that's not what light is. It's not who the Father is. Someone sees a good work and they accuse it for evil. They're blind. They're talking about themselves, and it'll be a strong judgment against them. Whatever the trap they try to set will come back on them. And you never know how it can come back on someone. How on earth does some prideful God man know? He doesn't know anything. He thinks it's just going to go all well and good in life, and it keeps getting worse and worse. And then a major catastrophe happens in life. It shatters them. It breaks them. Makes them crawl into a hole in even darker darkness, in the bottomless pit, and they never come out of it. What happens when this happens in the heart for real? You have to put on a stronger image that you're strong. The stronger someone appears to be, the more weak they are, the more in death they're in. That's what happens to people. So the people that rise and become great politicians and leaders, they are so cowardly afraid. They are so full of wrath for every evil everyone's ever done to them, with zero forgiveness in sight. They are more cowardly afraid than the bum on the street that doesn't believe. Yes, they are, because they have to sell a stronger image to hide their stronger death, and they can't see how any of this works. And it works perfectly, and it always is true. The stronger the image for selling, that's how much stronger the sin is that they're trying to hide. That's why they're selling the image. That's why someone goes, oh, this is a great idea. I need to seek this out. I need to become this or that, so that nobody sees that you're wicked and sinner. People think you're good and worship you, and then you think that worship proves your delusion. It doesn't prove. It proves that someone's in the delusion. It does the exact opposite of what someone was believing. It's bad. It's bad. But there is a good way. There is a way of escape. It's through doing good, through seeking the Creator's will and wanting to do good. Whatever his will is for someone, that's what we're supposed to seek, his will, not create our own thing. Then he'll give a good way, good works, and the true blessings that the world cannot see, that thinks it's just, money, more possessions, more carnal goodness. That's the devil's reward, if you will. That's what it is.
the worldly reward is for doing wickedness. The more rewarded someone gets, the more wickedness they've actually done in unbelief. That's absolutely the truth. They didn't get that for no reason. They got rewarded for their evil. Here, have some more. And the Father fills them up with all these things and riches. And they're even more destroyed for it. While they think they're getting better, they're getting worse. They think their cover's so strong, they'll just say, you're just jealous, you know. It's raging inside, right in front of us, proving what we say is true. It wants to murder you with its heart for real, proving already what was said is true. It thinks it can hide its murderous heart. It can't. Not for anyone that can see. That's what light is for. So you can see the murderous heart. It can't hide it. Can't hide it. It's no God after all. It's no Elohim. Can't do that just because it says it will and says it can. It's never doing that. What's the proof that it does? Well, 7 other billion something people are deceived and in darkness. That must prove that what they do works. No, it doesn't. It just proves that they're all blind and in darkness. That's all. It doesn't prove that because that it's a God man, but it needs to believe that it is. Yes, it does. I think I'll finish by just randomly opening up his word to something and just see what happens out of it. Somewhere in the New Testament. Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness, as he appointed, instructing Moses to make it according to the pattern that he had seen, which our fathers, having received it in turn, also brought Yehoshua, the Hebrew name of Joshua is Messiah, name that I'm fully convinced is not Joshua itself, because that's a transliteration of the Hebrew name, into the land possessed by the Gentiles, whom Elohim drove out before the face of our fathers until the days of David, who found favor before Elohim. Every time we read about finding favor, the teaching is that man didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. They got this backwards. David was just walking around and he just decided to have favor. I found it. That's how I found it. I chose it. No. Found favor, grace, favor before Elohim. It came on him as an example and type in the Old Covenant of what favor is. Noah found grace. That's meaning that the grace was shown on Noah. That's what it means. Noah didn't choose it. Noah didn't just say, oh, I found it because I was looking for it. Nobody was looking for it of self, who found favor before Elohim and asked to find a dwelling for the Elohim of Jacob. But Solomon built him a house. However, the Most High does not dwell, church world, in temples made with hands. As the prophet says, this doesn't mean, does it automatically mean it's going to say this word for word? No, the understanding has to be given. These scriptures that's being quoted for these words, the Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands, is what this means. It's what it means. I don't even believe it says those exact same words. No, it doesn't. Heaven is my throne. Earth is my footstool. What house will you build me? This is in Isaiah, I think. Yeah, Isaiah 66, I think. Yep, 6:6, the number of man. Interesting chapter. Talking about something so massive. The Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands. As the prophet says, heaven is my throne. Oh, the prophet's not saying the Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands. Must be a liar. You know, this is what people do. Heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. What house will you build for me? Says Jehovah. I'm lying because it says Lord, and I say Jehovah. I'm lying. You're deceiving. I can't see that it says Lord. I just make something up like Jehovah, just making it up. Does it look like that?
does look like that, doesn't it? Or what is the place of my rest? Has my hand not made all these things? So this is teaching these words. The Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands. That would be a church building. Hello, anybody home? In the church building, chapter 7 of Acts, working on going to 8, because chapter 7, the number 7, speaking about the spiritual things before 7 is 6, the carnal, which is believing that the Father dwells in temples made with hands. And then we read right after this in Acts 7:51, you stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, you always resist the Holy Spirit, the set-apart Spirit, as your fathers did, so do you. Which of the prophets did your fathers not persecute? Where? Which ones did they not persecute? What's the answer in reality? None. They persecuted them all. And they killed those who were foretold the coming of the just one, of whom you now have become the betrayers and murderers, who have received the law by the direction of angels, messengers, and have not kept it. When they heard these things, they were cut to the heart. That's what truth does. Whether for good and drawing near, or, like we're going to read, driving away. And they gnashed at him with their teeth. We read something about gnashing in teeth, and that Gehenna fire, the hell that they teach in the church world, they're in and going into it. It's in destruction. But he, being full of the Holy Spirit, set-apart Spirit, gazed into heaven and saw the glory of Elohim and Yehoshua standing at the right hand of Elohim, and said, look, now how insane does this believer sound? I see the heavens opened and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of Elohim. Then they cried out with a loud voice, stopped their ears, and ran at him with one accord, like I was talking about earlier. All of these people can now be one in one accord to do what? Oh, that fits perfectly. To destroy a light, a believer. And ran with him at one accord, and they cast him out of the city and stoned him. They just did what was spoken of. They just did this. Which ones have you not persecuted? They've gone blind. They don't believe they did this evil. They don't believe they stoned him or did any evil. It's justified in their sight. They did no evil in their mind. They didn't fulfill prophecy and persecute all of them. Which ones did they not persecute? Which prophets did they not persecute that the fathers did not persecute? They killed those who were foretold the coming of the just one, cried out with their ears, and ran at him with one accord, and they cast him out of the city and stoned him. And the witnesses laid down their clothes at the feet of a young man named Saul. Oh, yes, another wicked light of the world, Saul. And they stoned Stephen as he was, is it Stephen? As he was calling on Elohim and saying, Master Yehoshua, receive my spirit. Then the same words Messiah said, the same meaning, receive my spirit. Then he knelt down and cried out with a loud voice, Master, do not charge them with this sin. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. They killed him. Now Saul was consenting to his death. At that time, a great persecution arose against the church, against the ecclesia, the body, which was at Jerusalem, and they were all scattered throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles.
And devout men carried Stephen to his burial and made great lamentation over him. When we read out of the truth in his word, great actually means great. It's great lamentation over him. As for Saul, he made havoc of the assembly, the ecclesia church, entering every house and dragging off men and women, committing them to prison. Now, there's a lot of people in the world that will read these things and say, got him, proof that he's wicked. Blind. There's the proof that Saul is evil. He's not a true believer. He's an anti-Messiah, wicked man. Yes, because they're talking about themselves. They have not seen who they are yet. They don't believe yet. They don't realize that that's everyone first. The Father's being perfectly truthful through his word and not hiding people's sins. He's not hiding them. Says it plainly what they do. This is what he did. He was wicked. He didn't believe at all. He's no different than anyone else. They don't believe his testimony and his conversion, which is a word I think there's nothing wrong with the word. It's just that how it's used has been foul, because of what the church world's done. But there's nothing wrong with the word conversion by itself. Multitudes with one accord heeded the things spoken by Philip, hearing and seeing the miracles which he did. There was a great joy in the city from those that were being healed. That great means great right there. Great joy. In a world that's nothing but lies and definition, man's definition of everything, it means nothing compared to the truth. It's nothing. Man's definition of great has nothing to do with the truth. What's great to him and what's esteemed to him is an abomination, like we read. What's esteemed, what man esteems, is an abomination to Jehovah. Yes, what he calls great and what is great in his mind, which is esteeming something, isn't it? It's also great in someone's mind, is an abomination in reality to the Creator. The thing's not so great if it's an abomination in reality. Go, for he is a chosen vessel of mine to bear my name before Gentiles, kings, and the children of Israel, for I will show him how many things he must suffer for my name's sake. That's for every believer, not just one person. That would make the Father a liar. That means he would do some kind of good works through someone that he doesn't do through someone else. That's this world's way already. That's what it already would believe. That's what this world is. That's what its works are. It does this kind of partiality. All right, I think that's going to be it. Please take care, seek truth from above.